everybody, MBG here today with a little conversion corner tutorial on how to make this fun Canoptek scorpion kind of thing here. Now a lot of people, I posted this up on Facebook, and a lot of people were all about it and wanted to see some tutorials on how to do it, and I'm more than happy to show you because I have to make two more for my army. I'm using these as spiders for my Necron army, so I need two more of these, and I figured I'd just show you how to do it today. But before we get started with that, I wanted to talk about some tools real quick. One of the things that makes this conversion possible is Model Master liquid cement for plastic models. This stuff's really awesome. You can get it at Walmart, you can get it from spikybits.com, or a lot of modeling retailers online and things like that. What makes it neat is this metal applicator tip here, and you basically just kind of squeeze out the glue. Generally never gets clogged, which is pretty nice, and it's got this neat little metal ramrod, so if it does get clogged, you can unclog it pretty quick. And what it does is it actually bonds the plastic together. So for plastic model kits, this stuff is really legit because it's gonna give you a really good hold. Second up is the jeweler saw, which is available from all different tool maker outlet kind of things. I think Gal Force 9 has one. I'm sure there's some other guys out there online. I've had this for about 10 years now, so I'm not exactly sure what I got mine from, but always make sure to pick up an extra pack of blades as well. You're definitely going to need that. An old toothbrush is also necessary for this conversion, because when you're scraping and deflashing and things, you're going to want to run this over the surfaces you deflash, just to get all the extra plastic parts and things out. Next up is just a normal X-Acto blade. This is the Gripster by X-Acto. This particular blade right here is just a normal stainless steel, I think number 15 blade, nothing too fancy. Then we've got the Games Workshop Citadel deflashing tool, which I like this one right here. This isn't the new series that they put out of tools, but it's the older version. It's got a nice rubberized grip. I've had this for about 3 years now, and it's really nice for going over models that have a curvature to them, or little parts that are delicate, say like this Necron Canoptek Scarab or Canoptek Wraith arm right here. This would be very hard to do with this other tool that I'm going to show you. This is the Model Master Seam Scraper from Micromark, and this right here is a very sophisticated piece of metal. It's double-sided, and I have stabbed myself many a times with this. This is a serious instrument, and it can deflash and deburr pewter and metals. It makes a mockery of plastics, but the problem is it's not very delicate. So unless you're doing like larger surfaces, you don't want to use this. Things like we're going to use today on this conversion, it won't work well. So let's get the parts laid out here and show you how this is going to work. Okay, so basically here are the assemblies that you're going to use to make this conversion. There is a little bit of cutting involved right here. You're going to need to use the jeweler saw that I showed you earlier to cut down these two armor plates, and kind of in a little squiggly there, following the natural curve of the armor plate itself, to get that all filed down. Because what happens is when you attach the armor plates, the armor plates aren't really meant to curve the way they do on this conversion. They're meant to curve backwards over the back of the Wraith model. So we're basically curving up and inwards, so they're not cantered right, I guess, basically. So you just got to cut that little bit right down there, and everything else is just an assembly where I've pre-glued everything together, including the little tail here for the Dark Eldar Talos. I left one of the arms off on the talon right here, just because I'm not exactly sure how I'm going to position it once I glue it all down. So these are your basic components. You can, of course, add or subtract anything you want once you get going. You can even use different heads and things like that for the actual conversion itself. So basically you just have to kind of reimagine the Wraith. Instead of curved up where its back is hunched, it's curved so its belly is now hunched. It's kind of hard to explain, but basically you just turn the Wraith upside down. So let me show you how it goes. Okay, so just real quick, I wanted to point out something that basically how this neat plastic glue works, and I believe the Army Painter stuff works the same way. basically you just want to apply a thin seam of the plastic glue to where you're going to want to basically make a pretty permanent gap there. And then you just take a paper towel or a napkin in this case. As you can see, I stabbed myself earlier. And you just kind of dab it until it gets a little tacky. And once it gets tacky, it's going to really make this weld or bond or at the molecular level. And you just are just going to have to kind of put your two parts together, and then it's going to pretty much start to fuse automatically. Now, it's not really a chemical thing. It's not going to get hot. You don't have to worry about like super glue and zip kicking your fingers together or anything like that. But you still want to be cognizant of it. It is an odor, so you do want to work with your windows open and always, use a lot of caution with these tools and things like that. So here you can see the basic outline of the Scorpion kind of going together. Like I said, we're kind of basically reversing it and building a Scorpion right there. Okay, so next up you want to make your first assembly, where you're just going to kind of glue the torso pieces together here, and then attach the first, I guess, 4 legs. So basically, it should look something like this, where you've started that backwards curvature from the Wraith to the Scorpion. I didn't do anything special here, just glued them all together like that. You can see there's a little bit of bend. It hasn't fully started to set yet, but once it sets, it's going to be pretty permanent. And then what I did was also, I just kind of set it down there and gave it kind of like a creepy look, I guess, to where it's kind of, just like crawling along. It's not exactly like squared up or anything like that. But then I cut the little nub off the tail here. I'm not going to attach this yet, even though obviously it goes, right there, until this gets a little stronger, this bond here. Now, generally it takes about 6 to 8 hours. So I like doing stuff in the evening and just kind of leave it overnight, because by the time I wake up in the morning and check on it, everything should be pretty permanently bonded. So I'm just going to I'm going to wait till the very end to where this assembly starts to get a little stronger. And then I'm going to attach that probably the last step. Okay, so did some work here. Pretty easy. Nothing. You're not behind or anything. We'll just catch right up here and let me show you kind of what I did. So like I said, we started that curvature from the Wraith to the Scorpion. And what I did was I went in there and I took those 3 plates and I actually just kind of tack welded them down, because I'm actually going to airbrush them. So I'm going to actually remove them and airbrush them a different color. But for now, I wanted to show you the conversion. I added the middle set of legs, which is the medium size. So you got the small, you got the large, and then you got the medium. Put the claw assemblies on the front and the head as well. So all that's left is to put the little energy source kind of things around the tail section and attach the Talos tail right here. So as you can see, it's actually pretty quick and easy. It takes longer to file this thing down and remove all the flash lines than to actually put it together. But it's a fun little conversion. So we're gonna put that down and come right back. Okay, last but not least, you want to add the little power coupling pieces that are on the back right and left, and then just kind of add the tail. Give it a few minutes though to dry, because you don't want that thing toppling over, and it isn't going to completely cure until, I said, about 6 to 8 hours from when you do it. But if you attach everything right and make it tacky, what'll happen is overnight you're going to get a nice strong bond. You can see the tail right there. It's got a little bit of curve to it, which is pretty cool, because you can still position the little end piece right there. So what'll happen is you'll have this really strong bond that is going to be pretty hard to break. So if your stuff, if you drop the model or things like that, it's gonna be pretty strong. So that's what you want. So at the end, a box of Wraiths, if you add the pieces and do a little bit of work, you can have 3 of these neat little Scorpions, which can serve as, like I said, I'm using them as spiders, but you could use them as Wraiths. They're going to be kind of hard to get on a 40 mil base. I'm actually going to be mounting these guys to 60 mil base. I used a Desert Mesa line from Secret Weapon Mini for my Necrons, and I add snow and some of the autumn effects to make it kind of like a thawing I don't know, like a thawing winter kind of scheme to it. But yeah, it's a pretty neat little conversion, super easy to do, and it takes little to no time. You just have to do a little bit of reconfiguring. So, and I think the effects definitely speak for themselves. So that's it for this video tutorial on a little conversion corner here. Make sure you stay in the trenches, subscribe to this YouTube channel, check out the blog, spikybitsblog.com, where we have over 4,000 articles from the last 5 years and a ton of just conversion and all sorts of different stuff to look at. So make sure you go over and check those out and listen to our podcast, forgenarrative.com. Spiky Bits.